Hello everyone, my name is Eva Voda and today is our next Q&A session. So Leila asks, any recommendation in how to attain some type of graphic consistency? The graphic consistency is really important for the brand and for the way how we make our brand memorable. And I talk a lot about it, and usually I define 3 items. Today I will talk about 4. So the first and most important element to make your graphic really consistent is colors. And the colors which you choose is something really powerful, which can empower your brand, which can empower you, and which can help you to really build a strong connection with your tribe, because people also happy to connect to certain colors. Like red color often signifies joy and energy, and yellow color also signifies the financial abundance and many other aspects like that. So people tend to connect to particular colors, and I believe that you also would have some colors which will mean something to you. Because if I will say you something like, I remember that red apples of Kansas summer, which we love to eat, and which did give that amazing aroma of grandmother's kitchen and the pies which she create for us all the time. We will have that emotional story, and the story about apples, red apples of some particular area and grandmother, but the warmth of the story and the memory will add on to that red color. It will not be any other red color, but that one particular which is important for you. That's why when you choose your colors, don't randomly choose them and give them to your designer or VA or something like this. Just okay, if this color scheme is fine. I heard it 1,000 times. This is not the way to build your brand. If you really want to have a powerful brand, think about emotions and your connection to colors, because it's really something which can empower you and help you to connect with right people. So colors. Also, if you use similar or same colors all the time in your communication, people start recognizing your messaging. However, one of the very important elements of recognition and graphic consistency are fonts, and I recommend to use to choose, I would say, minimum 3 fonts for your brand, because nowadays we also have social media and we need a little bit more variety than in past. So I usually recommend to use 2 fonts. One font is for title, one font is for copy, and one font which is usually much more artistic for some quotes which you'll put on Instagram and some kind of more artistic and creative communication which you will use on a very minimal and more decorative matter than say massive amount of text on your site or some long kind of story which you will show through pictures. So that's a separate long story, but choose 3 fonts and never choose other fonts for your communication, because people do recognize shape and dynamics of fonts, and fonts also create a very powerful message for your customers. Because if you talk about serif classic fonts, these indicate to customers that you are a very classy person. And if you use grotesque, very simple fonts, it indicates to your customers that you are a straightforward person and you are friendly and easy to communicate. So fonts indicate a lot of emotional information to your customers on a very subconscious level. If you will combine colors and fonts, it will be even more unique combination, because your fonts will tell one story and your colors will tell another story. And when we combine them together, for example, we all the time use the white text on the red background. Do you remember the advertising of Economist? A large white sentence on a red background. That is something remarkable, and you can recognize their advertising all across the globe because it was very powerful campaign. So this used a lot by big brands, combination of fonts and colors, and the colors are really bold and used in a very particular way, because if they will use a little red thing, something, and the fonts and then some picture on the background, and another day it will be something else, the recognition factor will come down. And now we come to composition and shapes. There is something which people often neglected, not designers. Designers know it, and people who are not designers, they are not aware, so they neglect it. So if you use your title in the round shape all the time, people will remember the round shape at the part of your brand. If you use rectangles with a sharp edge all the time, people will remember this belongs to your brand. If you will use the rectangle with rounded corners, people will think that this is part of your brand. If you use all three shapes for your brand, people will not connect those shapes with your brand, and you will lose one recognition factor to make your communication more memorable. You can make this decision consciously, because now you know that if you all the time use absolutely same shape, people start recognizing those shapes. So you can make this decision consciously and use one shape for your titles to use it all the time. Or you can not just drop this recognition factor. So composition, the elements which would be called as design elements, like for example, if you will use some cut corner, or you will use some repetitive design elements like a page curl or some other elements. I don't know, there would be many elements like the smiley in Amazon or other elements which will be used across all communication, and sometimes without logo. Those elements helping your brand to be unique with visual elements which are always recognizable and memorable, and through the years people start associate you and your design elements, and become easier for them to remember your message and recognize your message in a crowded market. The fourth, usually third element, the fourth really important element of the recognizable and consistent design communication is the mood and the picture treatment. Photography is one of the most powerful tools for your visual communication, and you can build really powerful brand using right photography. It's not important, it's not really mean that you have to use photography which is made by you all the time. You can just take photos from any photo bank or hire some professional photographer to make good pictures of yours. But what I'm talking about is picture treatment, because you when you downloading pictures from various photo banks and you got your own pictures, or you get pictures clicked by you with your smartphone, they all look completely different. And to make them really recognizable, you treat them. How you treat them? The simplest way which I can explain you can just use a singular Instagram filter, or filter in other softwares like VS Core, or for example Snapseed, or Photoshop, or any other design software. So you use one single filter all the time, but you do not use this filter on 100%. You use this filter on something between 25 to 50%. So this filter will allow your images look much more consistent across all communication all the time, and it will allow you to be much more recognizable, because people will identify that style with your brand. Also, your filter is again not something which randomly chosen just because you like that filter. Every filter has some idea behind. Either it creates a retro feeling, either it creates some kind of modern feeling, or it's some kind of drama feeling, or any kind of other things. So you have to choose the filter which will help, which will enhance your brand communication. Because if you speak about something calm, you can choose a filter which will make your images muted and calm and will help them to be not only stylish but also reflect the key idea of your brand. So those 4 elements are key ideas how to make your graphic design, graphic communication really consistent and work for your brand all the time. The important factor is that to keep those things really effective, you need to use them at least for 1 year, and very actively. Because otherwise, if you will change your branding, or so to say rebrand yourself all the time, people will have no idea what to follow. And one additional most important factor in online business, your face is your logo. So if you see that some really famous coaches put their own photo everywhere on all their marketing communication, it's not because they're so self-obsessed. The face is one of the most recognizable elements which you can find on earth, because people are habitual to recognize human faces. So if you will show your face at least on every second communication, on every second design which you provide for public marketing, people will start recognizing you. And don't be afraid that people will think, oh my god, this person is crazy, she's really showing herself everywhere. The truth is that our face is equivalent of our logo in online communication, and it's truly important to add our face everywhere. So those factors will help you to create a really consistent communication, and I hope it was helpful. If you have other questions, please put them in comments below, and I also have very comprehensive guide which will help you with all these elements, because they are described there. So please download it from the link which is either in the description below, either on top, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.